Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, where we sort of won the last run, but it was a little dicey, and we did lose en route as well. We're starting with the D100 and chocolate milk. Good speed, good damage, and actually our rate of fire is terrible, but it's only terrible because we have chocolate milk. So I think 15 rate of fire with chocolate milk might actually be like 9 out of 10 quality. You know what? We owe it to ourselves to have a Zane run. We haven't had a lot of... There's been like 2 things that have not shown up recently. One has been full run rerolls, and the other one has been guppy transformations. For whatever reason, these 2 things used to be like a once every 2 or 3 runs sort of thing, and now they're just, you know, gone to the ether. Wow, I'm an idiot. Okay. See, what I was trying to do there was use a bomb to make some inroads into blowing up other rocks while also getting a bomb out of it, but I must have been off by like a little bit. So usually when I start with the D1, I try to go like 1 floor between rerolls just to pace myself. Otherwise you can, you know, by the end of the game, there's 40 freaking alternate floors in this gosh darn game right now. So you can accidentally end up breakfasting yourself pretty easily. I should have had that on lockdown. Love lockdown or otherwise. We also might want to save it for good opportunities to actually get value out of the D6 part or the D20 part of the reroll, like that other room back there. There's a bunch of consumables on the ground, for example. But right now, all we're rerolling is chocolate milk, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as a great idea. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sore about it. I mean, we did fine very recently. We've had fairly good performances. Let's get the item room and then we'll reroll. Fairly good performances, but the guppy transformation, for whatever reason, just has not been showing up as often. And it's not like that's the difference between a win and a loss. It's more the difference between me feeling like this run's a 10 out of 10 and this run's an 11 out of 10. This run, by the way, absent the D100, which will almost always give us the win anyway, unless it completely screws us, it is pretty much up there as well, but... the rate of fire plus chocolate milk plus decent damage right off the bat is super good. Not quite arcade level. Oh my... I don't know, dude. This is a tough choice. I'm just going to pick it up. Let's go for it. It's a tough choice. So curved horn... huh? What? So... mostly cracked crown is tears up. So we get 2 damage up with the curved horn, but we get 3 tears down. This is still very much worth it. Still no access here. That's fine though. Yeah. So I mean, that was actually a pretty definitive sort of situation, I think. Cracked crown is probably worse than curved horn. The exception might be if you really, really need tears for some reason, but I mean, they're both very good. There's no doubt about it. Maybe both in the top 3 trinkets. I think you gotta put curved horn on there. I would probably put cracked crown and cancer maybe on the same level, but then you also got to consider the Dark Prince's crown or the Bloody Crown or whatever the heck the trinket version of Dark Prince's crown is called that gives you item rooms on the womb. Those are all up there. Although I think you might, you know, agree with me when I say that I'm overrating item rooms on the womb, actually. It's like, sure, getting 2 extra item rooms on the womb is very nice, but... is that much more valuable than getting reroll machines in every item room? Is that much more valuable than getting an Eternal Heart every floor? From, you know, Silver Dollar and Maggie's Faith, respectively. I do sometimes think in Isaac, we have that, like, Peter Griffin syndrome, where, you know, I know, DAE, La Family Guy, but please, I was, like, 13 years old when that show was in the height of its popularity, at least in its first run, so cut me some slack. You know, that's when Peter Griffin wins the game show, and they say you can either have the boat, or you can have the mystery box, and he says, or Lois says, take the boat, and then Peter Griffin says, no, we gotta take the mystery box, there could be anything in the box, even a boat. Feel that way about item rooms sometimes in Isaac where you're like, you know what, a guaranteed HP upgrade, who cares? The item room could be anything. It could even be an HP upgrade. But I digress. We don't need to get into, like, what's the best trinket in the game. Let's be honest. We've got, like, a 90-something% win rate. And, trending pretty much level, I think, as far as things are going right now. We're going to wait till the deal with the devil, then use our reroll. Either on the deal or just after we take an item in there. I still don't understand, like, when you take and then reroll versus when you reroll and then take. But it doesn't matter much in the whole scheme of things, because the D100, again, it's like the most misunderstood item in Isaac. It feeds you free wins. It's like having the opportunity to reroll your life until you get something that, like, you know, you're okay with. If you survive a day in the life, you get to reroll again. So you know, reroll once and you're like, I'm a prisoner of war. Okay, live a day, reroll. Okay, now I'm the CEO of, like, Adidas. I'll stop here. Not making light of serious issues, or at least that's not my intention, but from an Isaac-related sort of metaphorical standpoint, that's kind of what we got going on here. Right now, I mean, we were like, you know, VP of Finance at Samsung or something like that, and now, you know, we've re-rolled, I don't know, we've moved to we're the Chief Technical Officer. We're in the same boat, basically. It's all good. I can't believe I've missed the item room here. So odds are we're probably going to accidentally re-roll into something that's garbage, or at least more garbage at some point, but I'm okay with this. We got plenty of time to work our way through it and get something a little zanier. See, what we want is to reroll ourselves into Zane plus power. You know, we want to be like a Richard Branson, not just a stuffy old fuddy-duddy. Guillotine, if it gives us stat upgrades that are persistent, I don't know why they reversed direction there, but if they give us stat upgrades that are persistent, I would like to keep it. Or I'm happy that I picked it up, rather. So coffee's still hitting the bloodstream here. Give me a moment. Takes a second. Just thinking of, like, what we want to reroll, what we don't want to reroll, but there's no reason to buy the boomerang unless we want to reroll immediately and then we get another item in the shop. But the D100 makes you nihilistic, man, because you're like, okay, I could get the boomerang, reroll it, it becomes a passive, I pick it up, but then it gets rerolled again. Like, it never gives us anything persistent, which is fine, but at the same time, makes me kind of unattached to any item in particular. Oh, I mean, we'll take Succubus. Be good to get something persistent like 9 lives out of the other side, though. It's a theme. So this was just a straight up everything downgrade, except we got Epic Fetus along with it. But we're low on, like, every stat, but Epic Fetus with 5.52 damage is going to kill everything in one hit anyway, I think. So it's very similar to, like, Mom's Knife, in that 5.52 damage doesn't really apply. And what's nice is that we can actually reroll right off the bat as well. I don't really want to do a whole floor with Epic Fetus. Doesn't interest me all that much, so just throw this out instead. All of our stats stayed exactly the same, except our speed went up. That's not very good. It's not very good at all, actually. And the Parasite's nice, but okay. Stick with this for a floor, and then we're good. Excuse me, sir. I've got a bone to pick, okay? And I know people, they go, oh, NL's going off on another one of his rants. I want it to be clear that all of my rants are meant... Like, my brand is making a... self-aware, making a big deal out of things that are very minor. But Kate and I have this, you know, basically grocery delivery service. It's not like grocery deliveries. It's not like they show up with a bunch of ingredients that we asked for. It's just like, we pick 3 meals a week, and then they basically prepare the ingredients and then deliver them with a recipe. So it's even worse than just getting the food delivered. They're taking liberties, because they've been, in their marketing, they're like, you know, it's for busy people, and for better or worse, we do tend to be busy people, even though a lot of that is self-inflicted. And I don't necessarily see that as a mark of personal pride. In a way, it's a little bit of, like, workaholism, but anyway, the point is, we got it, partly because it was convenient, and then partly because it's like, all the meals are under 40 minutes. 40 minutes might seem like a long time, but it's nice, you know, because it's 40 minutes where you're making real food and you're, you know, making a wholesome meal. Sure, you could order delivery in 40 minutes and be fine. I guess that with the timing it would make sense, but, you know, we're spending time together as well. But they've been taking liberties. Yesterday's meal, I look at it. Bombay chicken. I don't know if that's a real thing, but it was pretty delicious in the end. But this is absent the point of what I'm trying to get at here. Might as well take passives, I suppose, and try to stack up as many items as possible, even if it is transient. So it was basically like chicken thighs on basmati rice. Feels like I'm walking on sunshine. Chicken thighs on basmati rice with some like roasted cauliflower. It was pretty good. On the box, well, not on the box, but on the bag with the ingredients, it says easy recipe, 30 minutes. I want to run something by you here. 30 minutes. How long is that? One more than 29, right? What if I told you that step like 3 of the recipe was after seasoning the chicken breast, cook it for 3 to 4 minutes on both sides. You're going, okay, that's 6 to 8 minutes of cooking. And what does it say after that? Apply the marinade, put it in the oven, set a timer for 25 minutes. I'm not trying to be rude to you, meal delivery service. You say 30 minutes. You've given me, at the minimum bound, 31 minutes of cooking time. Do I look like I was born last night? And I say that, you're gonna be like, oh, they're only off by 1 minute. No, 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 this is like 1 minute in the perfect scenario. That's like if I asked you how long it took you to drive to work. You would give me the average amount of time it takes for you to drive to work, probably. You wouldn't give me the, oh, it's 3 a.m. and there's no traffic on the road and I'm driving, you know, one of those cars that they always have in the desert where the engine explodes half the time. It's got parachutes that come out the back of it to slow you down, sets world records, etc., etc. That's what they've done at this point. So I've come to the realization, you basically just said they're lying to you. You have to add 15 minutes on either side, because sometimes you'd be like, okay, we got 50 minutes where we know we're gonna be at home, so let's cook this meal. It says 30 minutes on it, and then it's 45 minutes, and it's like, now take the broccoli out of the oven and put it in a small bowl with the chili oil and toss it, and you're like, this is too much. I actually fully understand. Austin, we got him onto the. Well, I'm not going to suggest that it was all our idea, because you know he's an adult as well, but. He heard about us using this service and was like, hey, there's analogs in my area. I should try it out for myself. And then after like a month or two, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I understand, you know, it makes a lot of dishes. It takes longer than you'd expect. And if you're like Austin's living that bachelor life right now, which I don't say as a pejorative, to be honest with you. I say it as a term of endearment. He's at the point in his life right now where he's like, my body mostly can handle eating takeout for almost every meal. So, you know, if it's going to take you the same amount of time and cost roughly the same, I understand where you're coming from. But I'm sadly, I'm past that point in my life. If I don't eat, you know, 3 or 4 servings of vegetables a day, I wake up the next day and I'm like, I'm a different person. Like my body just doesn't feel right. It's like, why are you punishing me? I wish that things weren't like that, but it's what happens, man. That should be Bookworm. By the way, this run is like, unless we roll into something so bad, we lose an average of 2 HP per room for the rest of the run. We're so completely fine that there's nothing to worry about at all here. Might as well re-roll the active, I guess, so that we can get something. Like, this is an example. Isaac's Heart is something we don't want to have, especially with Ipecac, but let's go. Let's give it a chance for a floor. So yeah, you gotta add like 15 minutes on it, because, you know, you get this 30-minute cooking time, you're pulling it out of the oven at 45 minutes, you're like, we got 5 minutes to eat, and I've been lied to. I'm not that salty about it, but I wish they were honest, because it would help me plan my time better. Also, sometimes they have you're gonna take this as a surprise, or you're gonna be surprised by this. There was a period, you know, in college when most people, well, the stereotype, at least, I won't say most people, but the stereotype in college is like, I'm gonna eat, you know, peanut butter for dinner because I'm broke and also I don't know how to cook. I was almost like the antithesis of that when I was later in college. It's like I had more free time in college than I had any other time in the rest of my life, basically, except like pre-kindergarten or something. So I was cooking like mother sauces and, you know, oh, hey, what do you want for dinner tonight? You know, anything sounds good. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll make a homemade bechamel and pour that over it. You know, there's some roasted chicken breast. It was a time in my life where I was the most culinary active. I'm re-rolling this. This is garbage. So I'm not a stranger when it comes to cooking. My skills have atrophied a lot, admittedly, but you know, there's like base level culinary chemistry that sort of just stays there, I think, at least. But they'll be like, okay, this is an easy... Every bag has a difficulty on it. I don't know why, because I guess they're trying to promote it for people who are not skilled, or at least experienced in the culinary department. But it's meaningless because they all have easy. I've seen like 2 in my entire 4-month life with this corporation. Well, I don't know if they're legally a corporation, but anyway, entity, that have not had easy, and they've only had medium. So what would you say is an easy meal? Sandwich, right? PB&J. Nah, son. This, I'll give you a little bit of a primer to the bad and bougie lifestyle here. This one was like, okay, we got this cauliflower. Well, first off, it was like, you know, put a cup of water in a pot, pour the rice in, set it to boil, and then when it starts boiling, cover it and reduce the heat to low and simmer for 20 minutes. That's easy, no doubt. Second step was, you know, take the chicken thighs, salt and pepper them on both sides, heat up a skillet, a medium heat, put them skin side down. When the skillet gets hot, cook them for 3 to 4 minutes per side. That's easy. Next step, once the chicken's done, you're going to take a small baking tray, you're going to put aluminum foil at the bottom, and then you're going to take this cauliflower, you're going to put the cauliflower spread out in an even layer on the bottom. You're going to put the chicken breast on top of it from the pan, and then you're going to, well, your oven should be preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit at this point, and then you get ginger, garlic, yogurt, mint, there's like a cumin seed plus mustard seed spice blend, and then you're going to like, you know, whip that all together in a bowl, and you're going to pour it on top of the stuff, and then, you know, you kind of work it around in the baking tray and then put it in the oven for 25 minutes. I'm not suggesting this is a hard meal, necessarily. But as far as I'm concerned, anything that has, like, 6 steps and 3 different cooking methods, you know, we had a boiling, a frying, and a baking going on here. Sorry, that doesn't get to be easy anymore. That at least puts you in the medium range. Sure, they're not saying, oh, and now, you know, remove the spine from the chicken, butterfly it, and insert, you know, your custom herb garlic butter under the skin. They're not saying that, but, you know, that's... I would dispute that being an easy meal at this point. Easy meal is like, you know, put the potatoes in the oven, fry the steak on both sides. You're good to go. Yeah, this run is, like, still solid. I'm thinking we should go to boss rush, but oftentimes that ends up with me accidentally re-rolling myself into breakfast because we just get too aggressive with it. I can't even remember what the medium one is, but definitely there's some, like, easy 30 minutes. And then it's like you're making a marinade, letting it chill in the fridge, making a sauce, frying something, finishing it in the oven, and then making, like, a starch to go on the side of it. And then, like, sometimes it's like a salad dressing as well. And you're like, no! This is... I signed up for convenience, and now you got me making these meals that admittedly, like, I would never make for myself, which is nice because it's, you know, I get to experience some dishes I would never otherwise make, probably. But I'm just saying they're taking some liberties with it. Wait, we have Dogtooth active. Dude, thank God we got Curved Horn, because otherwise we'd be sitting in a terrible place from a damage standpoint here. Man, some of my favorite meals in university. I have talked about this before, but this isn't one of the, like, super old rehash sort of NLSS bits that I do from time to time. This is like a genuine, like, I had good friends in college, and we were doing fun stuff together. Every Wednesday, in my 4th year, like, the recession hit, and I don't know why I say that as if that matters for a publicly funded university, but either way, a lot of, like, the classes that I wanted to take were not offered because they're like, well, you know, we got less money this year. So basically, I had like a the minimum schedule I can conceivably have and still graduate, because I was like, you know, I want to take insect biology, and they're like, oh yeah, we're not offering that this year. Are you crazy? You know, you could stick around for another year if you want to take that, but I'm gonna graduate. Well, you know, how much do you want to take insect biology at $500 a semester? Not that much. Obviously, we'll take champion belt here. Another luck upgrade is nice. We'll right, that's right. We're on the special room. I forgot. Justice. But yeah, so like on Wednesdays, I had like one class at 9 a.m. or something like that, and then I think that was it for my whole day. So I would always cook dinner on Wednesdays that year for my housemates. And there's a recipe on YouTube from America's Test Kitchen called a high roasted, I think it's called high roasted whole chicken. It's so good, but also know your own kitchen well, because you will set off the smoke detector just by virtue of this. You take a whole chicken, apologies to vegetarians out there. You take a whole chicken, the night before requires some preparation. You basically get a big old bowl or pot, you fill it with water, you dump in a cup or two of kosher salt, and you let that thing brine overnight. It seals the juices in, makes it nice and juicy. We should grab this. We might have a chance at boss rush still. Then, you know, after 12 to 24 hours in the brine, you take it out, you cut out the spine of the chicken, lay it flat, basically like beat it flat. So then all of the skin is going to be, all the skin on one side at least, is going to be exposed to this like super high heat of the oven. You whip up like an oregano and basil garlic butter, put it under the skin, high roasted. It only takes like 50 minutes or something like that, or 40 minutes to cook a whole chicken at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Comes out like dark and crispy, wonderful, great times. So take this. We've already fought Krampus, so we might as well just grab this and go, basically. We have no teleport. I mean, Serpent's Kiss is pretty good, but I mean, look at our rate of fire. Our rate of fire is 38. I'm not interested in taking, Serpent's Kiss, especially because we're going to be re-rolling it in 10 seconds anyway. But I will say, 38 rate of fire is, like, obviously terrible. But Sharp Plug, or, Sharp Pencil, made that a lot better. Although we still got rid of it in, like, record time. Anyway, that's enough food talk. If you're, you know, in college or living alone or going off to college, I really recommend learning to cook. People, don't let people, they always give you, like, not always. Rob's really good about this. And I know I usually, like, take this opportunity by myself to roast my colleagues, but I respect that, you know, Rob likes to cook complicated meals sometimes, relatively complicated meals. I don't mean anything when I say relatively complicated. I just mean that, you know, he likes to cook meals with some pomp and circumstance. Oh, dude, this is not necessarily great. But when, like, someone who's not that experienced in the culinary arts, like Austin, is like, what should I make? Rob isn't like, oh, you make a quiche Lorraine. It's the easiest thing in the world. Step 1 of 67 is blah, 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 you know? He's always like, you know, just cook like a starch and then fry, learn how to like fry meat so that it's not dry as heck, and then you're good to go, you know? He always goes for the simple stuff. And it's so easy to be like an okay chef. Probably different for everybody. An okay cook, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to... People go to school to become a chef. But for me, it basically came down to like, hey, cook everything like slightly less than you think is right. And then it comes out. You just learn, you know, this has to cook a little longer than this, has to cook a little longer than this, and then you're good to go. It's the easiest thing in the world. Save you a lot of money in college as well. Until you start making your own quiche Lorraine. Conjoined? What's up? It's your boy, Conjoined. This is not that bad. 18 damage, 8 rate of fire. Can survive, live with it, thrive. Don't mind if I do. I'm very surprised that it appears impossible for us to get a Guppy transformation here. By the way, if you don't know how to cook, that's also fine. Like, I'm not trying to say it's a necessary skill to have as an adult, but I do think it is, I do think it's helpful, and I think that people do a bad job. I don't want to, you know, DAE, Computer Science 101, but it's like, People do the same thing about computer programming. They go, I don't know, I could never learn how to computer program. It's really just like, you know, do you tie your shoes in the morning? It's the same thing as computer programming. It's just you gotta learn, like, slightly different, well, very different syntax for it. Anyway, but that's cooking, dude. You know, if you learn, like, 3 different ways to cook eggs, you never have to eat the same thing twice. You got it under control. Twice in a week, I should say. Not twice ever. That would be a little ridiculous. Restock is almost worth stopping for, but we haven't had a run that really has made me feel like this is where we want to be forever at this point. We're on Womb 2, right? Yeah, we've really picked up the pace here. That being said, there's plenty of skills that I don't have that you should probably have as a 28-year-old adult. I can't build anything. My brain, and I accept this, I think I have a good brain, and not in the, you know, Tropic Thunder, Simple Jack sort of way. I think I have a good brain for words, for language, for logic to some extent, you know? I think for whatever reason, either, you know, natural acumen or whatever, you know, maybe I spent a lot of time as a kid doing specific puzzles that work in that area of the brain, and I've, like, just let it atrophy, and then it's coming back to me now. But when it comes to visual spatial sense, I'm actually an idiot. Like, when people go, NL, you're blind, you missed something on the screen. I go back sometimes and I watch those videos, and I go, I am actually, like, legally blind. Like, how did I miss that? That's crazy. You know, I'm the kind of person, like, I'll ask Kate, I'll be like, hey, Kate, where's this, like, thing I'm looking for? And she's like, oh, it's in this thing. And I go, no, you don't understand. I need you to give me, like, the latitudinal and longitudinal coordinates of our apartment. I need you to tell me it's in this corner next to the blank, because I don't know where, you know, oh, it's in, like, it's in the bag section. I don't know where the bag section is. Where's the bag section? Oh, it's in the closet. Okay, now I'm on the level. Now we're okay. But, you know, I can't build anything. It takes a lot. I've gotten better at it, but if you show me, like, a chair and then give me the pieces of a chair, I will not be able to I cannot conceive of how it gets put together. Genuinely. I mean, we'll take this and then reroll. I don't think we're gonna fight Hush, because it's too dicey on a... We have 1.62 damage, so I'm really not gonna fight Hush, but I kinda like this, you know, monkey's paw run right here. Looks like the Left 4 Dead 2 logo, except it's got a 3, which obviously something Valve, etc, etc. But yeah, okay, so there you go. So I can't build anything. I'm not very handy. I'm not particularly good at fixing things. What I am good at is being humble, so I understand. Like, our dishwasher broke. I wouldn't say that I fixed it, but I looked at the dishwasher and said, I don't know what the heck's going on there. And then I went on Google. 1 second, we got an important Skype message here. Okay. I went on Google, and it wasn't an important Skype message. I Googled the make and model of our dishwasher, and then I was like, we had the part number, because the part had come off and was just kind of sitting in the bottom of the dishwasher, and I Googled that, and I got, like, a video tutorial of how to fix it. And I was like, you know, I'm glad I didn't just go, oh yeah, this goes here, and try to snap it in. But I also cannot drive a stick shift. And I know if you're European or really into cars and not European, you're probably going, what do you mean you don't know how to drive a stick shift? It's, well, you might not realize it, it's not part of driving culture to the same extent in North America. Definitely my dad knows how to drive a manual transmission. See, we had a manual car when I was a kid, but ever since then it's been automatic transmissions, you know? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But this is so much better. Good lord. Although our speed is garbage. Dude, just let me out. I'm begging you here. I'm trying to... There's probably, like, various other skills that I'm unaware of. But, you know, you can't... It's like an RPG. You can't spec into everything. This is it. This is the run we're keeping here. It's so good. Although that's kind of like a misnomer. Because I could definitely learn how to drive stick in, like, you know, probably like a month. I don't know. How long does it take? However long it takes, that's how long it would take. Do we need piercing shots? Why don't we take piercing shots like dead onion so the tears are bigger? Oh, because our range is so much worse. And then black rune everything else. We got some shot speed out of it at least. Yeah, you know, you can't always... If you spend your whole life worried about, you know, self-improvement, there's a good chance you're like, I've done it. I've learned all the skills. What's left? Time to die, because I'm 90. You know, like, you gotta... Self-improvement's nice, but you gotta take some leisure time as well. Not too much, but, like, enough. Enough to feel well-rested. I think the key, not that I know, you know, the secret to life, but it's, you know, taking enjoyment in productivity. Which sounds like the title of, like, the world's worst, like, corporate PSA. It's like, hey, the Walmart employees are trying to unionize. Quick, show them the gaining employment, or gaining enjoyment through productivity video. That's extremely patronizing. Back in the day, the greatest generation used to take pride in a job well done. What happened? No, this is... It's too far. Alright, I've crossed over from self-awareness into satire. I should learn how to drive a stick shift. But honestly, like, straight up, we drive in downtown Vancouver all the time. It's a freaking Mad Max nightmare, dude. I'm glad to drive an automatic, have one less thing to worry about. There's a one intersection. I don't know, maybe you can Google it on Google Street View. I hear that's a thing that exists. It's East 6th Avenue at Oak Street. Very, like, fairly well-trafficked thoroughfare. It is a 60-degree angle straight up on a right turn with 4-way stops at every intersection on the way up. I know if you live in San Francisco, you're like, haha, I laugh at your... Well, I wouldn't have a stick in San Francisco either. You got nothing to worry about in that department. I'm just saying, that's why sometimes I, you know, go up that road and I go, thank God. Even though the focus is like, as you're trying to get up. Anyway, you get the idea. The Fiesta, of course, is what I meant. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. I've said a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.